Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'll be a little bit longer than usual, sir, because it is a fairly topical subject, and also, of course, the honourable member, who I'd like to thank him for asking this question, has talked about how will it affect FSC, the landowners and the farmers. I assume landowners, he meaning Itauke landowners or landowning units. So the FSC, like any other business, needs to stay competitive and reinvest in its organisation. They need sufficient revenue, and this is only possible when prices for the goods that they produce are periodically reviewed and goods are sold at the right price. Sugar, of course, Mr. Speaker, sir, is subject to price control. Mr. Speaker, sir, the FSC is, of course, no different. It has to have a decent investment plan and sufficient cash to implement the plan. The sugar industry, Mr. Speaker, sir, government has put almost $500 million in the sugar industry since 2016 through various subsidies and various other assistance to farmers directly and indirectly. Mr. Speaker, sir, we also, of course, apart from government funding, we need market-driven solutions too. This is the most suitable way to improve the efficiency at all levels, and improvement for upgrading the 3 sugar mills is a key priority for FSC. We know what happened with the Indian upgrade that took place during the Garase government, Mr. Speaker, sir. Much of it was in fact left idle and did not take place, but the money was actually spent. Mr. Speaker, sir, the last time the sugar price was reviewed was 4 years ago. When it was conducted, the review was conducted in 2017 by the FCCC, or Fijian Competition and Consumer Commission. As outlined in the FSC submission to FCCC in June 2021, the company needed to carry out necessary investments in sugar mills, but requires sufficient cash to implement major upgrading works. So price review is determined to be necessary. Mr. Speaker, sir, especially when FSC has been hesitant to invest in its milling facilities, given the shambolic upgrade that took place a few years ago. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry was aware of sugar, was aware of the request for the price review. However, the Ministry does not interfere with the workings of FSC and, of course, its liaisons with FCCC. In fact, Mr. Speaker, sir, the FSC wanted an increase of 109%, or $1.49 per kilogram. However, the FCCC, in fact, approved an increase in price of 90 cents per kilogram of sugar, not the $1.49 that they wanted. Where will the proceeds go? All proceeds generated from the sale of sugar are shared between the growers and the miller through what we call a 70-30 ratio, as stipulated in the Master Award, and this formula has remained there for ages. To put it simply, it isn't government that benefits from the price increase, it is growers. On average, the FSC supplies approximately 26,000 tons of sugar in the domestic market annually. With the increase in price, sir, additional revenue of $23.4 million will be generated. Of this, FSC will receive approximately $7 million, which is about 30%, that will be invested in sugar mills and to carry out other investment plans. Mr. Speaker, sir, just to explain to the honourable member and other members in Parliament how the price determination was actually carried out. And FCCC has actually provided this information, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, the whole pricing review was conducted over 7 months, which include for a call for public submissions and a thorough review of the FSC's financials. The FCCC consulted members of the public and other relevant stakeholders from the sugar industry, sir. A call went out for submissions through the FCCC website and social media, urging members of the public to submit their proposals. This is, of course, Mr. Speaker, sir, at the height of the various variants we had, the Delta and then the Omicron. FCCC received a total of 118 submissions, sir. FCCC then deliberated on the request for price increase, bearing in mind the current market conditions and submissions, and decided to set a new price on 20th January of this year. I understand only one political party made a submission, that was the Labour Party, not NFP or anybody else, Mr. Speaker, sir, for that matter in this room. Mr. Speaker, sir, this process obviously was an independent process, and submissions were also made by the Ministry of Sugar objecting to the increase in the sugar price. Mr. Speaker, sir, FSC would use the additional $7 million to improve the efficiency of the mill, as said, increase cane production and improve the TC-TS ratio. This will reduce FSC's reliance on government and taxpayer funds and is the right way to become a healthy and sustainable business. The remaining $60 million will go towards the proceeds to farmers. The 70% is per the Master Award. As the price is guaranteed at $85 per tonne, sir, government will save the $16 million from the original subsidized price. This means government can use these savings to provide other assistance related to the farmers. And as the farmers do know that some of the initiatives, because of COVID-19 restrictions in the budget, some of it was in fact, for example, the new cane planting program was somewhat slowed down or muted. Mr. Speaker, sir, cane growers will continue to receive the guaranteed current price of $85 per tonne, as well as additional benefits to the growers and other stakeholders, including the landowners, lorry drivers, cane cutters, machine operators, and financial institutions as the mill operations improve. Upgrading work in the mill will improve production efficiency with better TCTS. Excuse me. Less cane will be required to produce a tonne of sugar, thus the total volume of sugar production will increase. With the increase in sugar production, sir, the overall proceeds generated from the sale of sugar will increase, thus increasing income for both the mill and the growers. So when the mills run efficiently, the crushing rate improves. This will reduce the downtime of lorries waiting for hours in queue to get their cane weighed and offload for crushing. With an accelerated crushing rate, the lorries will be able to return to the cane fields much earlier for reloading. This also brings efficiency to both the mechanical harvesters and the cane harvesters. Cane harvesting will be completed in a shorter duration, thus reducing the major harvesting and transportation costs of growers. Mr. Speaker, so when the mills are out of function or not effectively functioning, the cane cutters and harvesters cannot perform their work, and this increases growers' costs as they are compelled to provide food and other demands of the cane cutters. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, says such costs will be avoided, and with the additional savings in their pockets, the growers will be able to make timely repayments to banks and make investments on their farms. And of course, we talked about this the other day, they can also get into other farming livelihoods. Mr. Speaker, sir, the FSC also plans to utilize part of the additional income on increasing cane production, which is a fundamental development needed to grow and sustain the sugar industry. Through their cane development plan, the FSC is focusing on reviewing and increasing areas under cane, improving productivity and ratoon management. Plans are in place to establish more joint ventures, share farming and develop FSC estate farms, motivate landowners and growers to venture into large-scale farming. A recent hire was made in our Agriculture Department, sir, to help us implement all our plans and show that we can take this matter very seriously. There are also plans on reintroducing the rewarding of best cane growers. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to mention the joint venture program which aims to access new land for cane production. This maximizes the use of unutilized land that creates additional economic activity. Since its inception in 2015, 8 joint ventures have been established to Viti level and Vanua level. In 2020, Mr. Speaker, sir, the total production of these 8 JVs was 12,327 tonnes and was produced from an area of 355 hectares. After the development, 4 JVs were handed over to the landowning unit as they wanted to manage it independently. To date, there are 4 JVs operational in Sanganga with a harvest of 5,651 tonnes in 2021. The 4th JV will start receiving the payment in 2022, and these JVs are with the landowners. This year, Mr. Speaker, FSC will assist the 4 JVs to plant 187 and 0.80 hectares of cane with a forecasted 12,500 tonnes of additional cane to be harvested in 2023. In the future, sir, FSC plans to continue to work closely with the landowning units to convert idle flat lands, a lot of which is there in Vanua level, thanks to Honourable Kula, to maximize cane production for the long-term business viability of the sugar industry. To assist landowning units in the JV program, the FSC deploys farming equipment such as tractors, provides advisory services and needed men and women power. Mr. Speaker, sir, the FSC also plans to carry out product development and diversification with the growing markets of sugars of Fiji. You would have seen the label in New Zealand and neighbouring Pacific Island countries. Therefore, there is a need to improve on packaging machines, distribution channels, and acquire international certifications that would open up doors to new markets. FSC is currently researching product diversification that would see new variants of sugar being launched. Mr. Speaker, sir, there are many positive benefits to be realized by the different stakeholders in the sugar industry. Therefore, the price review is well timed for the FSC. Mr. Speaker, sir, of course, some people don't necessarily comprehend this and they sort of turn into a political issue. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have to understand, Honourable Kurindrani talked about FSC being technically insolvent and all of that. It's not, he said, maybe it is. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is a commercial entity that requires healthy cash flow to make investments for its sustainability and that of the entire sugar industry. And as people know, sir, FSC is owned by the Fijian government, but also FNPF had shares, Fijian Holdings had shares, and there are other shareholders, but nobody in the past number of decades or so have contributed a single cent towards the equity of this particular organization. It's only the government, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'll leave it there, sir, and if the honourable member has any question, I can ask them. Thank you.